New breed, global truth.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love for the They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks, but these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. New breed.
Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
This is insane!
He's got Hulk Hogan in the air.
The crowd is losing their minds!
A royal suplex. Dirty Maga has lost it.
Someone is not happy right now! Cry! Cry a river, Maga!
New Breed is crushing all their heroes.
What's good, everybody? It's your brother New Breed coming through with another live stream. Salute, salute. Ladies and gentlemen, the race war has started. That's right. It has begun, y'all. So I don't know if y'all caught this news, right? But the FBI just arrested a man who was assembling groups of militants to take out 30,000 of our people. And I got to definitely react to this because we are on the precipice of a race war. And I've been saying that for some months now. And when you look at what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jim Crow 2.0. Now I want you to think about this. There's a whole system that y'all thought was buried in the past, but it has been resurrected. Racism just been rebranded. This is the new America. Now I want y'all to think about it. You got whites only towns. They're still thriving in 2025. They're not even hiding it. You got race-specific news that subtly spread division, fear, whitewash narratives. I mean, think about this. We thought segregation ended decades ago, but we got sundown towns. They still exist. You ask the wrong person in the wrong zip code, and they'll tell you straight up, hey, listen, if you get caught here after dark, they finna string you up. And now we got crowdfunded racism. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, because I'm not going to just talk about a race war without telling you specifically how it's being waged, because it's being waged in every which way, right? Now, I want y'all to peep this news, right? Let's get to it. Dayton man arrests by FBI for making threats. Now, this is right after the Cincinnati self-defense situation took place, where a Russian man walked up in the hood. Well, not even in the hood. He was downtown at a jazz festival. A Russian guy, along with his Russian buddies, decided that they wanted to lay hands on our people. And they got mollywopped and jolly stomped. And, you know, they took an L that night. But now the media is now spinning a narrative, a whitewash narrative, to make us seem like, you know, all our people are savages and all of this, you know, all this type of nonsense. Well, there seemed to be one of these race soldiers who decided that he wanted to really cause some harm and damage to our community. Peep the news, though.
11, a Dayton man is in custody after sharing a tweet threatening to kill 30,000 people.
30-year-old Scott Michael Hanna was arrested this morning by the FBI and appeared in court this afternoon. 2 News reporter Evan Bales is live in the newsroom after talking with some neighbors about what happened. Evan?
Brooke, Jack Hanna is facing 5 years in prison for a tweet put out on X yesterday, and he's charged with making an interstate communication with the threat to injure. The FBI showed up this morning after that tweet caught their attention.
Called me and said, "You won't believe it, but the police are out here."
This is the scene that greeted Scott Michael Hanna's neighbors. Federal agents surrounding his home, shouting for him to surrender himself to the police. All of this stemmed from a racially charged tweet, with Hanna claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, they call us savages, they call us animals, but you have never seen a situation where one of our people got beat up at a white establishment, you know, like a biker bar, which I showed y'all demonstrations of that actually happening. But you have never once heard us say that we're going to take out thousands of Caucasian people. See, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, our battle is not against white people. It's against suspected white supremacists. All right. Let's make that very, very clear. Our war and battle has never been against white people. It's about suspected white supremacists, like this guy right here, who wants to take out thousands of our people in retaliation to us defending ourselves. All right. Now, before we even go any further, I don't know what he thought was going to happen. I don't know what he thought these groups were going to be able to do in Ohio, in that Dayton area. I don't know what he thought was going to happen, but you know, they would have got packed up. let's just put this out here right now. The days of y'all exterminating us, committing genocide, going to our communities and committing massacres, those days are over. I want y'all to understand it. Those days are over. That's not finna happen no more. if they come in our communities getting froggy, they're going to get packed up. All right. So I don't know if the FBI didn't get to them, it would have been a crash dummy mission anyway. Let me just put that out there. It would have been a crash dummy mission. You got some brothers that are waiting for this. You know what I'm saying? You got some brothers out there. Hey, listen, they are waiting for that. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Let's go.
Saying they were going to fill the morgues and by Sunday have killed 30,000. Cincinnati.
He said what? What he been watching too much. Look, he been watching way too much Spartacus. He been watching Spartacus way too much. He been watching Game of Thrones too much. He been watching, I don't know what's on this boy's mind. He just finished watching 300. I don't know what's happening here, but yeah.
Tweet with Hannah claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people, saying they were going to fill the morgues and by Sunday have killed 30,000. Cincinnati police reported the post to the FBI, who reached out to local law enforcement, saying Hannah had a history with them. In a prior incident in September of 2024, Hannah used a sword to strike a woman in the neck, resulting in serious injury and what police called a partial decapitation.
So this savage animal almost decapitated a woman, and I'm guessing it's a black woman. Almost decapitated her. So why was he even in the streets to begin with? Why was he walking the streets? And I want to say this. It's very shocking how little news coverage this story has. I'm telling you, the news coverage on this is nearly impossible to find unless you're looking for it, which tells you and shows you that the media is very specific about who they air out as animals and criminals, right? Let's go.
When approached by officers, he became irate, yelling and calling one of them a racial slur. On Friday, the FBI released a statement saying in part, quote, "The FBI aggressively investigates those who threaten our communities with violence. Threats like this impact the entire community and have serious consequences," end quote. Neighbors I spoke with said it's scary what happened and they hope Hannah can get the help he needs. Another neighbor who has lived here for years says the police have been to Hannah's unit 3 times in the last year.
I'm not surprised based on the unit and based on just like the recent history, but you know, one bad seed doesn't make the whole neighborhood terrible, you know.
But you know, when there's a bad seed in our community, you know, the whole community is terrible, right? You had JD Vance claim that all the black businesses in downtown Cincinnati are problematic off of one isolated event. But when these people plan actual T attacks on people, it gets very little news coverage. People don't talk about it. People pretty much sweep it under the rug. And they say, yo, that's just one bad apple. Doesn't spoil the bunch. Meanwhile, America has turned into 1955 Mississippi burning. That's what's happening right now. You got the president of the United States calling Charlemagne of the Breakfast Club low IQ. You see, that's disrespectful. And that's the new white nationalist, or not even white nationalists, say that's the new white supremacy talking point, saying that somebody has a low IQ. And it's always directed towards black folks. We're talking about a president who don't even know how to read. It's telling Charlemagne he got a low IQ. And I'm not, listen, I'm not even a fan of Charlemagne. But I'm on his side with that one. Because Charlemagne, like him or not, he's still the face of a nationally syndicated radio program, and he is the face of our radio, whether you like it or not. And it's disrespectful for the president to come out and call Charlemagne low IQ because of his political views. But in this country, they can do this undermined racist undertones, right? And then you have the governor of Florida that just made Hulk Hogan Day. Ron DeSantis made Hulk Hogan Day, knowing Hulk Hogan is connected to racist stereotype, racist rhetoric. They just showing you who they are, but y'all know how I feel about that.
This is insane! He's got Hulk Hogan in the air. The crowd is losing their minds! A royal suplex. Dirty Maga has lost it. Someone is not happy right now. Cry! Cry a river, Maga! New Breed is crushing all their heroes.
But you know, I say all that to say, if they would have sent this guy out there, he would have got packed up. You know, it ain't that we worried about Hulk Hogan. We don't care. But anyway, listen, I'm going to show y'all why this guy is so irate. The guy, the Daytona man that got arrested. We're going to get to that.
Now, Hanna did not enter a plea in court today and is scheduled to appear next on August 13th for a preliminary hearing.
So he's going to get him he's going to get him a fast and speedy trial, right? Listen, he'll be back on the streets. He'll be back on the streets. Hanna, the guy who did this T threat, right? He'll be back on the streets. Mark my words. He'll get a slap on the wrist. He's going to have a fair and speedy trial, and he's going to be judged by a jury of his peers, and he'll be right back on Twitter with a faceless account talking shit to black people. That's just this is what Dirty MAGA does. They get on the internet, they get real bold. This is just a bunch of awkward, weird incel people who sit behind a computer and muster up this courage and hate for black people. A lot of times they never even been around black folks, but they gain these internet followings, this hate, and then, you know, they jump stupid. They get on the internet and they feel real safe and they get real froggy. Y'all see it all the time when Dirty MAGA joins my chat. Y'all see it all the time. That's what they do. Right now, I'm going to show you why that guy was so upset. Now, let's get to it. So, Cincinnati, we all know about the beating, but the victim, the lady, she spoke out, finally broke her silence. And the news is pushing that all through the airwaves that she broke her silence. First of all, which one of you folks in this chat right now was waiting for her to break her silence about getting knocked out? How many of y'all was like, yo, I just can't wait to hear what she had to say? I mean, you know, because that's what the news is pushing right now. She breaks her silence. I don't see nobody saying they was waiting on. Anyway, let's go.
About that viral street mob attack that took place in Cincinnati. A warning for the viewers at home, this video is graphic.
Yeah, we're going to skip the graphic part.
Nate.
Hey, Emily. So 2 of the 6 men facing charges for the Cincinnati street fight are still on the run. Detectives are also trying to figure out exactly what caused the attack, but the lawyer for one suspect claims new video shows racial tensions led to the violence.
It showed that racial tensions led to the violence. Why is that? Because some Russians thought it would be in their best interest to go to a predominantly black area after a jazz festival and go hurling obscenities to the good patrons that were out there trying to enjoy themselves. And then when the racial obscenities didn't work, they decided to slap somebody. And y'all wonder why the councilwoman said they begged for that ass whooping. Because they did beg for the ass whooping. Yeah, they were calling them the N-word, and it's out there, y'all. So what you have is these race soldiers, these sleeper cells that they're sending in our communities strategically. And I'm telling y'all right now, this is a, I believe, allegedly a CIA operation where they are sending these sleeper cells, these crash out dummies, to come into our community and get us bent out of shape so they can plaster us on the front page as savages and animals. When in actuality, the only thing that's happening is we're defending ourselves. That's it. All right, so keep an eye on this stuff, y'all. You hear that? Look at this.
I didn't do it.
Look, he had all the time in the world to calm his ass down. But no, he wanted to continue to be confrontational. And I'm going to tell y'all like this. In this day and age, you have to absolutely subdue these individuals. Because there was one guy, he went inside of a Walmart. White guy stabbed up 11 black people. Why? Because nobody subdued this guy. Nobody put him down in his place. When somebody gets aggressive like that, you don't know what they're going to do. You have to eliminate the threat. When somebody feeling froggy like that and they're getting in people's faces and they decide to actually swing, that threat has to be neutralized. It's just simple as that. We in 2025 and we can't have that.
So more than that, the Cincinnati Police Department, quote, has been made aware of Ku Klux Klan flyers being distributed in various communities within our city. And
so the race war has begun. So all throughout the city, there's racial flyers in Cincinnati. They're being posted by the KKK. Ladies and gentlemen, we in 2025. So when the scriptures say there will be nation against nation, we are living in those times. What you're looking at is problem, reaction, solution. And the media is telling you what's going on.
Quote, Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Pureval back from his heavily criticized vacation in Canada.
You notice every time something crazy happens,
You deserve the
in one of these major cities, the mayor or governor is always on vacation. Y'all notice that? It seems to always be happening, right? I don't know, something I noticed.
The opportunity to try and divide us along racial lines. That is a choice we must firmly reject.
The most recent arrest happened over the weekend. Dominique Kittle's lawyer says he suffers from paranoid schizophrenia. So far, these 4 men face charges.
Now, listen, if this man suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, he needs medical attention. But see, in our community, we're not allowed to have mental health issues. We're not allowed to have that. You know, it's a double standard. And mental health is real. Mental health is real, and all people of all ethnicities deal with mental health, right? But anyway, let's continue.
Of assault and aggravated rioting. One of the suspects, Jermaine Matthews, bonded out of jail on Friday. He's out on a conditional release wearing an ankle monitor.
This guy should have never been arrested at all. This is the guy, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the guy who actually got slapped by the Russian guy. He should have never been arrested. And here's the $1 million question. Y'all ready for this? All the Sambos out there. Y'all ready for this question? Why wasn't the Russians arrested? I mean, you got it on camera that the Russian guy threw the first slap. Is that not aggravated assault? Why wasn't he arrested? Because he got his ass whooped? And now they passing out KKK flyers. Man, I tell you, the race war has started.
Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Emily, the lone female victim named Holly is.
Let's see what Holly has to say, because the world has, listen, middle America has just been salivating to hear what old Holly has to say, right? Middle America just couldn't wait. The ratings on Fox News has went through the roof because Holly, who was out there scrapping, ended up getting hit with a blow, and the whole world was at a standstill until she broke her silence. Anyway, let's see what Holly had to say, right?
And
Cost.
and I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma.
Hold on, let's go back a little bit because in case y'all didn't know,
and
they fundraised. I don't know if she says it in this video, but they fundraised over, I believe, $35,000 for Holly. You know, they fundraised over $35,000 for Holly. All because she was in the middle of the brawl fighting, end up getting knocked out. Now, I don't condone any man putting his hands on a woman, you know, and, you know, and to be honest with you, that guy, he's going to pay the price. They're going to deal with him. He's going to be dealt with appropriately. And it is what it is. It looks like the females that were scrapping her, or the female that was scrapping with her, had it under control. It looked like she had it under control, but you know, it is what it is. But this goes back to this crowdfunding, right? Because I can assure you, these people like her, they end up being a spokesperson for a lot of these militant racist groups, just like that one lady that was hurling obscenities at the little black boy. Y'all remember her name? It was like Shiloh Hendricks. Y'all remember her? Same thing. Raised hundreds and thousands of dollars. Why? Because that's CIA stuff, man. Any race war you're gonna fight, you need money. But then they get mad at us when we fundraise for our people. But anyway, let's go.
I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma. It's thank you, everyone.
Of course,
she's thanking everyone for all the money they sent her.
Reaction to that video has been strong, and tonight Republican candidate for Ohio Governor Vivek Ramaswamy will host a discussion about public safety.
Too many Americans and too many people in Cincinnati don't even feel safe to go into their own home city. I say, no, we got to talk about it in the open, because this issue of urban crime, it is politically incorrect in some circles. I don't care about political correctness.
Ramaswamy's town hall starts at 5:30 tonight in Cincinnati, and Fox will be there as the reaction to this viral attack continues. Emily, we'll send it back to you.
Nate Foy, thank you.
You got it.
Larry, the business owners in that area as well sent a public letter to the city demanding accountability and that this stops. And they talked about the danger that this has posed. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm reading as many accounts as I can. The police say that there were no racial slurs, and they looked at it 6 different ways.
Of course the police said that. Of course they did. They don't want to put that in a police report. Those police reports are going to be all kind of inaccurate, right? Why? Because if you admit that the Russians were hurling obscenities and actually assaulted someone, it changes the whole script. Yep, it changes the whole script. Yep, Real 80 says this Indian man right here is a race soldier too. I believe it.
There were no racial slurs. But even, I mean, you have to ask yourself, even if somebody said something, does this mean you can have a beatdown and a brawl?
See, that's the narrative. No, there was an attack. Matter of fact, I believe I have the screenshot of how it all started. Let me check real quick, because I think I actually screenshotted how this all started, the actual slap. I should have made that put that in my thumbnail, because literally you see the Russian guy slap and then things go left. I think I got it in here. Nonetheless, you can find it all over the internet, man. But that's the narrative that they like to spin. Like somebody would just call us using the N-word. Most of our people don't care. They just left a jazz festival. Those people that were out there to have a good time. Nobody goes to see jazz music and leaves and says, you know what? I want to beat some Russians up after playing jazz music. Come on now. People who like jazz are chill, relaxed people, man. It wasn't until that slap when things went left. Because although we're very reserved people, we mind our business. But when you put your hands on somebody, we try to ignore them. But when you put your hands on somebody, you can expect consequences for that. And that should go for any community. I'm not going to Chinatown with that type of energy. I'm not going into a Jewish community with that type of energy. I'm not going into a biker bar or white nationalist community with that type of energy. Give us the same respect. And y'all lucky y'all didn't do this at a rap concert. You know, them Russians were smart enough to go to a jazz concert. Y'all lucky y'all ain't go to a rap concert because these young niggas got switches. They got extended clips. It would have went a lot worse for you going to you know, some type of rap festival. Just like I'm not going to the rock festival showing out.
And violence on the streets of a city. I think not. I think that's just a terrible thing. I'm looking forward to what Vivek may have to say and his town hall. You know, Cincinnati is a beautiful city, a lovely city. It's a southern city. That's why this is a bit troublesome on the racial front. I hope there's good investigations, you know, and I hope this thing is resolved. But you just can't have it. Look, we had it here in New York. We had a shooting last week that was unbelievable. How is that possible? Okay. And we're not the only ones. You've had these riots or many riots in Los Angeles and Chicago. What is going on here? What is happening to our great country? Somebody's got to restore law and order. Honestly, someone's got to restore law and order.
And see, that's what they want to push, law and order reform. That's what's going on. Those are little key words. Somebody has to restore law and order. That is pretty much clinching down on our people. And then in New York, you had this shooter.
Yeah, I believe
you had this random shooter in New York that shot up the Blackstone building. That is going to equal, and that's going to turn out being stop and frisk. So they on code right now. Yeah, that's a code. That's a code right there. This is how these racists talk. This is how they communicate.
the answer to that, Kennedy, is that this is a holdover from the prior 4 years in which law and order was discarded in favor of woke, pretend to be prosecutors that didn't prosecute the law, where people did not see accountability. I don't see that as a brawl. I see that as a mob attack. I see it as felony upon felony, including kicking people in the face. It is nauseating to watch. And the first step is an assault charge. The first step is a riot charge.
But meanwhile, you have a man arrested by the FBI for threatening to kill 30,000 of us. Why aren't y'all covering that news? Because that's genocide. How could y'all turn self-defense into something that's so deplorable when you got an individual threatening to kill 30,000 black people, when we already have been through the transatlantic slave trade? We've been through countless massacres, including Rosewood, Black Wall Street. So that is not talked about. That's not discussed on mainstream news, but only on some local Daytona news station that's talked about. And you wonder why. And you wonder why some of these suspected white supremacists are getting froggy like that. They don't think they have any consequences. That's why he was so bold to post that on X. Because y'all pushing a black fatigue narrative. If he was to go and crash out like that, it seems that he would be rewarded by society, the way y'all cover the news. As far as we know, the FBI is letting him right on out. Or maybe he can be used to see what kind of networks he actually is connected with. We don't know why the FBI picked him up, but I damn sure doubt they picked him up to protect Black Americans. They probably did it to protect him, honestly. Because if they would have made a move like that, it wouldn't have ended well for them. I'm telling y'all right now. But nonetheless, y'all see how the news is pushing this garbage. But let's go.
Entire group needs to be charged with the complicity law that Ohio State has for far worse. This cannot continue. And to your point, Larry, I don't care what was uttered in the beginning. Nothing justifies a mob beatdown like that ever.
Key point.
Yeah. And, words are not deeds, and words do not incite life-threatening violence. They should be condemned. Absolutely. In a civil society, you cannot call people epithets like that. But also, for Holly, and I read that she had tried to intervene and stop the fight. Right. Never do that, especially as a woman.
Yes, Holly wasn't trying to intervene. Holly was trying to scrap too. And Holly was pushing, shoving, and throwing blows, and she got jumped on. That's what happened. The news keeps on spreading a narrative that it was just words. Like, we just have these fragile little egos that if you call us the N-word, we gonna act like animals. Like it's some type of dog whistle for all Black people to come together and riot and rave. That's not true. Let's just put that out there. Thank you for the contribution, TIP 20. But that's the narrative that they pushing. The news is terrible, but let's go.
Avoid conflict at all costs. Do not insert yourself, because you are much more likely to get injured like that, even though she probably had really good intentions and wanted to stop everything. And a lot of people feel that way. But, I don't want to see other people get hurt and get wrapped up in melees like this. But a lot of people operate with impunity because they have been activated by the political left, who loves incitement. I mean, they have been advertising how, they hope.
Of course, they're going to blame it on Democrats. No, this ain't got nothing to do with Democrats. This has more to do with a country that's shrouded in racism. And I'm going to tell y'all, they're planning something. Please, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe that all this division is just random. See, while they flood the streets with distractions, the racial time bomb is ticking. And too many people, they just sleep at the wheel, y'all. See, the agenda is this: divide us by color, instigate violence, and then they swoop in and be the solution. More control, more surveillance, and ultimately what? Martial law. Martial law. That's what it's about. See, we think that it's just going to be this racial war and everybody's scrapping. No. This is about divide and conquer. It always has been. Somebody stands something to gain from all of this. I'm just a person in truth that can see the play. See, there's a play that's happening right now. That's why we got to stay conscious, socially aware, and awoke to what's going on, even though, they try to kill what woke is. Being woke means being socially conscious. Let's go.
That someone gets shot in one of the ICE altercations, because that will justify the resistance. It doesn't. We do not have a place in our society for this kind of violence, and people shouldn't be scared. And the mayor is a nutless wonder.
But you got a person threatening to kill 30,000 Black people. Come on. Let's not talk about violence without mentioning, those who have been doing all the oppressing. Matter of fact, let me see if I got this in here in the queue. No, I don't have it. We can't talk about violence without talking about those who came over here and took over America, killed the North American Indians. Those who committed genocide in Rwanda. We can't be talking about those people who dropped bombs on churches and schools and nah. But y'all so damn worried about Black violence. Let's stop it. Stop it. Let's go.
For leaving town and not confronting this and bringing a city together and having the tough conversation that Vivek wants to have.
He's showing us who he is, though. And
Yes.
we're always grateful to see who the bad actors are. And he's a bad actor because he's not doing the right thing. And he didn't do the right thing.
Reading a tepid statement is nothing.
Now, y'all gotta understand, all white supremacists aren't white people. You know, you got your own people who really side with this type of rhetoric, and they followed whatever narrative that the mainstream news is telling them. But see, the Bible warned us that this type of world would happen. Nation shall rise up against nation. See, the word nation in Greek is ethnos. 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 That means ethnic group, ethnic group. And see, they won a war because it keeps us from seeing a real enemy. And that's the spiritual wickedness in high places. The same spirit that fuels slavery, lynching, segregation is really going digital now. It's really going digital now. They want a one world currency. They want Satan's seed. They want Satan's DNA in everybody. See, it's not just about race. This is about Satan being able to plant his seeds in society. I don't want to go too deep though, but I'm telling you, somebody has something to gain from this, and it's the adversary. It's the spiritual wickedness in high places. It's not about all white people. No. You're not dealing with somebody with a small mind. This is about one world religion. This is about Satan weakening the nations. As he said he would do, weaken the nations. How do you weaken the nations? Well, you have to have them turn on each other. You have to have them go on a war with each other. Really, the battle is really against good versus evil. It's really good versus evil, y'all. That's what's really happening. But ethnic group versus ethnic group, it will come to a helm, and it will come to a boiling point where you're going to see race wars, real race wars. I'm talking about different crowdfunded militant groups that are going to be engaging other groups. It's going to look like an annual purge in like 10 years. At the rate we're going, it is 2025. When you turn on the news, all you see is racial tension, racial divide. At this rate, you look up 10 years from now, it's going to look like the movie Civil War. Yes, it's ethnos against ethnos right now. Let's go.
No,
I mean,
he probably didn't even
so
write it.
Tepid. Yeah.
Right. But, you know, what I'm thinking about now is that young woman, Holly, you know, her face so battered, brain trauma. She can't work now. She's a single mom. All these things. That
so her face sort of looked like Emmett Till's face. Yeah, you know, Emmett Till, who was brutally beaten for being accused of looking at a white woman. Yeah, that's where she looked like Emmett Till in the face. But see, when they start using that term, when they start coining that term, black fatigue, I already knew that the cards was going to be on reverse. They pulled that Illuminati race card. That's what they did. See, when they told y'all they had Black Fatigue, which is a book that a black woman wrote about the fatigue that we experience through the transatlantic slave trade and systematic captivity or systematic racism. When they took that from us and reversed it on us, I said, oh man, they're going to really turn this around. Yes, and Emmett Till's photos were worse, a lot worse. But I made that comparison for a reason. Because I knew that they were going to be socially engineering the people to turn us into the Vikings, to turn us into the damn savages and animals. No, our people ain't never been that. We ain't never been that. You just got a lot of people who have a black degeneracy kink who are publicizing this. Let's go.
Been pointed out about her personally. But Kennedy, I know you're right, and yet my heart breaks when you say don't get involved. We've all seen those moments where, even as women, I don't know what we're thinking, but we're thinking we can get in there and make them listen to mom, but you can't. And we shouldn't have to choose between helping someone who might not be able to fight back and standing by and being one of the 100 bystanders who did nothing.
Well, I mean, my advice is she should have used her female nature to hold those Russian guys back before they decided to slap somebody. Not after they got their ass knocked out. Did that make sense? Let's see.
911
call.
Yeah,
that entire thing.
There's a difference between calling 911 and intervening like that.
That's right.
And a woman by herself, as vulnerable as can be, going into a mob of guys. You know, it's like the odds are stacked against her.
No, you're right.
And Molly, speaking of women, I mean, there's still been no apology nor accountability for the city council woman who said they begged for this beatdown. She said once she knew the whole story. That is despicable coming from elected.
Once she knew the whole story, the councilwoman said, you know, they begged for that beatdown. I mean, she said what needed to be said, because if she didn't make a bold claim like that, everybody would have believed this narrative that it was just somebody hurling words and that there wasn't an actual attack, that it was an actual self-defense. So that was very bold of that FBA sister to stay on code and stand on business like that. She just told the truth. See, in this world right here, when you tell the truth, it really ruffles feathers. Yeah, she said what needed to be said. Let's go.
Official. I'm waiting for her termination.
Not the only elected official that implied that the victims were in some way to blame here. Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Kearney has said, "We condemn the violent actions of the instigators of the fight, as well as the violent actions of those who responded to the provocation." So there's almost an element of additional victimization here, where as everything is unpacked, and there was a very confusing scene, and there were a lot of people who claim that they were actually just trying to break this up, that in fact there's an element of victim blaming, and they're pushing back on that. Ken Cooper, the president of the Fraternal Order, as your point earlier, Larry, was that he said he spoke to the investigators and that there was absolutely zero evidence so far that suggested that
they've done interviews. Nothing suggests the victims were the ones that started this mob attack. Here's the thing.
How about the slap that's all on the internet?
This sounds like a street gang looking for trouble. And that's why I go back to law and order, because street gangs have ruined so many great American cities. Chicago is an important point. Los Angeles, we have it here in New York City. Street gangs. How can you have it? They were looking for trouble. They were looking for an excuse. All right. I don't need to politicize.
Yeah, you have some people leaving a jazz festival who is now being labeled a street gang. They're leaving a jazz festival. Street gangs don't go. How many street gangs y'all know go to jazz festivals? You know, it's just so out of the loop with the culture. It's all to bring law and order reform. Yeah, Satan had blinded these people's minds. And this is what white supremacy do. It lies. The prince of the airwaves get up here and spread their lies. Meanwhile, you got this Dayton, Ohio man that wants to kill 30,000 black people. Matter of fact, let me show y'all in case some of y'all just joining, right? Because this is breaking news, but not too many people are covering it. Not too many people are talking about this. Look at this.
A Dayton man is in custody after sharing a tweet threatening to kill 30,000 people.
30-year-old Scott Michael Hanna was arrested this morning by the FBI and appeared in court this afternoon. 2 News reporter Evan Bales is live in the newsroom after talking with some neighbors about what happened. Evan?
Brooke, Jack Hanna is facing 5 years in prison for a tweet put out on X yesterday, and he's charged with making an interstate communication with a threat to injure. The FBI showed up this morning after that tweet caught their attention.
He called me and said, "You won't believe it, but the police are out here."
This is the scene that greeted Scott Michael Hanna's neighbors, federal agents surrounding his home, shouting for him to surrender himself to the police. All of this stemmed from a racially charged tweet, with Hanna claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people, saying they were going to fill the morgues and by Sunday have killed 30,000. Cincinnati police reported the post to the FBI, who reached out to local law enforcement, saying Hanna had a history with them. In a prior incident in September of 2024, Hanna used a sword to strike a woman in the neck, resulting in serious injury and what police called a partial decapitation.
This man was watching Spartacus and went out there and tried to decapitate a black woman. He was still walking the streets. Wow. And why is there so little coverage on this? All you got is this one news channel. Why Fox News ain't picked this up? CNBC, NBC, CNN, like, shouldn't this be on the front page right now? Somebody said his grandfather is a former judge. Where'd you hear that from? Yeah, here's the thing. Like I said, we're not scared. We're not operating in fear. The black community is not afraid of this guy. And whatever mental issues that he got would have ended him in an early grave if he tried any of that. It wouldn't have went well for him or his groups that he was recruiting on the internet. Listen, I've been saying this from the beginning. All you little race soldiers, all you little racist, suspected white supremacists, y'all better keep that shit on the internet. Y'all just keep that right on the internet. They say Hannah's grandmother is a former judge. Wow, interesting. I have to look that up. Yeah, just keep it on the internet. It's not going to go too well for you. And they was out there in Cincinnati handing out clans, clan suits and clan certificates. Look, I'm going to tell you, listen, as quick as y'all come into our community, as quick as we going to send y'all asses out. Keep your hands to yourself. Dear middle and white America, keep your damn hands to yourself. This is not the generation to do that with. I'm going to tell y'all right now, that's not a battle you want. And Donald Trump is not going to send a National Guard for y'all. He's not going to do it. He ain't going to do it. Nope. You remember, look, the only ones who want to crash out is Dirty MAGA. Dirty MAGA. See, these white racists, these Klansmen and all of that, they low. They at the bottom of the totem pole, y'all. Don't nobody care about them. Capitalists run this country. Capitalists run this country. Nobody care about no Klansmen. Nobody cares about a white nationalist. Nobody care about you inbred, hills have eyes, redneck prejudice pricks, Budweiser drinking prick. We don't care about y'all. Y'all will get packed up out here. This country is ran by capitalists. And them people don't give a damn about y'all either. So y'all best to understand y'all in the same position that we in. Those capitalists downtown and those capitalists in those, but they don't give a damn about you rednecks. They're going to sit up there and watch as they're like, wow, the blacks really whooped their ass down there. So stop it. Go get yourself some help. This ain't no damn Jim Crow. Yeah. I don't know what these people think this is, man.
When approached by officers, he became irate, yelling and calling one of them a racial slur. On Friday, the FBI released a statement.
He was saying that to some of the some of the FBI officers was black, and they came in there and swooped him up because he was on the internet talking stupid. And if y'all just look at my thumbnail, look at he look like a tweaker. That's why I tell y'all, keep it on the internet. Just keep it on the internet.
Saying in part, quote, the FBI aggressively investigates those who threaten our communities with violence. Threats like this impact the entire community and have serious consequences.
The FBI aggressively investigate those who threaten our communities with violence. Threats like this impact the entire community and have serious consequences. Well, we would like to know the consequences for what happens to this guy. And look, they getting so bold because they so used to being able to talk crazy. Hey, if the FBI really want to catch some of these meth head creeps, go to my vertical streams when I'm talking about Dirty MAGA. Yo, you could just pluck them off one by one. They all make threats. They all make threats. Here you got a system that agitates racial violence, but then they want to act like they care about the consequences of of what they've created. Y'all created this monster.
End quote. Neighbors I spoke with said it's scary what happened, and they hope Hannah can get the help he needs. Another neighbor who has lived here for years says the police have been to Hannah's unit 3 times in the last year.
I'm not surprised based on the unit and based on just like the recent history, but you know, one bad seed doesn't make the whole neighborhood terrible, you know.
Hell, man, y'all got a lot of bad seeds. And see, you got the average Joe believing racism is over. They told you civil rights fixed everything, but only thing civil rights did was give other people or made other people beneficiaries of our plight. They swapped out white robes for police uniforms, business suits for political positions. They went from burning crosses in your yard to burning the damn truth off the internet. Come on now. And then watch this. Watch this. Let me show y'all what y'all president is doing. Because this is real distasteful stuff right here. And this is why these people act like this. And y'all make sure y'all get the likes up on the video. Trump calls Charlemagne low IQ. Peep this, y'all. Peep this.
Whoa.
If you're the Trump movement.
Well, what you also do.
It's me. About me or what I have done. Remember 1 year ago.
Let me just read what Trump said about Charlemagne. And listen, I'm not a fan of Charlemagne. Charlemagne be doing a lot of creeped out stuff on the Breakfast Club. I don't really think he represents our image the best way he can, but I'm on his side with this one because this low IQ thing, I've seen this talking point dealing with Dirty MAGA. I've seen them always, direct this type of rhetoric towards black folks. Listen to this. He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me and what I have done. Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. MAGA. Ladies and gentlemen.
This is insane! He's got Hulk Hogan in the air. The crowd is losing their minds! A royal suplex. Dirty MAGA has lost it. Someone is not happy right now. Cry! Cry a river, MAGA! New Breed is crushing all their heroes.
What the hell does he mean it's the hottest country in the world, anywhere in the world? He said, remember a year ago, our country was dead. Listen, our country is not only still dead, but now you can smell the rigor mortis. And it's like, they will be telling us like, yo, everything is better. The prices went down. That's the anomaly I don't understand about Trump and MAGA. How could you not believe what you see every day? When you go to the gas station, the gas prices are still high. When you go to the grocery store, the groceries are still high. When you look at the economy has gotten worse. But you got this guy who has this hypnosis over the people, so much so. He can literally say, everything is good. The country is doing better than it ever did. And it's like, y'all don't see that it's not. Y'all don't see that it's not. Like, what kind of spell does he have on MAGA? Now, look, I'm not no Democrat. Because that's what they do. Everybody who give pushback to the right, oh, he must be on the left. Nope. I believe Joe Biden and every last one of them Democrats on the Epstein list too. Now what? Where do we go from here? I told y'all this, and I'm gonna tell y'all this again. Whoever in that White House, I'm going against them. Why? Because none of them have a comprehensive plan for Black America. None of them have a plan for us. If we don't pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, we're going to be a damn endangered species. I take that back. Because they're the ones struggling with birth rates. That's another reason why they're starting this race war. They're struggling with birth rates. That's the reason why they'll go get 50,000 Ukrainians from over here and bring them over there, or bring them over here. This is the reason why they'll go get white Afrikaners and bring them over here. They're struggling. Blacks and Hispanics are making babies. We're beginning to outnumber them. So now the heat is on. And that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? That's just a fact. But anyway, nonetheless, let's see what he had to say about Charlemagne.
Oh, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world, MAGA.
Lara Trump told Charlemagne she thinks things have changed and that she doesn't see so-called traditional Republicans coming back to the forefront. Charlemagne, however, said this line of thinking could be a trap. Let's watch.
Say what you want. Donald Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime, one-on-one political juggernaut. You're not going to be Donald Trump. So if you think you're going to be able to do what Donald Trump has done, talk the way Donald Trump has talked, get away with what Donald Trump has got away with, it's not going to happen. So everybody right now, we have the opportunity to have like a huge reset.
Y'all got to understand, it's all a reality show. Donald Trump came from reality TV, which pretty much sprawled from talk show television like Jerry Springer. Donald Trump was the Jerry Springer of his time. And now he's the president. That's a reflection on what middle America has become. Donald Trump is the product of middle America. So you're looking at a reflection of the majority. Yeah, he went to The Apprentice. This world is a stage. Yeah, Donald Trump is a straight up comedian. He's a billionaire baby that fooled and tricked rednecks to make them believe that he's one of them. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how Donald Trump, a billionaire baby, convinced a bunch of rednecks in trailer parks that he's one of them, but he did it. Let's go.
So, well, go ahead.
I was just saying, the ideal role for Charlemagne the God from a conservative media standpoint is to have him focused on what's wrong with the Dems and beating them up. What you want your Charlemagne the God type figure to be hostile to the Democrats and not and kind of overlooking or forgetting or deprioritizing, because obviously he doesn't like or agree with Donald Trump's policies, but to be for left people to be focused on how much they dislike the Democratic Party is what Republicans want.
Listen, let me just put this out here, and this is what I believe is a weakness of our people altogether, right? We have to stop choosing sides. We have to stop being on a strong left, on a strong right. None of them represent us, right? We have to really stay on code, because if you extreme on one side or another, each side can always play you against the other side, and you become a pawn. Pretty much become a pawn. You become a pawn in their game. We got to stop that. We got to stop that. We can't be nobody's pawn at this point. If you're on the Republican side, you become their token. If you're on the liberal side, you become their token.
Conservatives want. So I'm not sure what prompted having him on the show, but right now there isn't even really the Democratic Party has no leader and is not a factor at all in our kind of discourse. So now is not the right time to be bringing out the Charlemagne the God into the conservative media environment, because the thing to weigh in on is what Trump is doing. If you're an online commentator type person like Charlemagne the God is, it's very Epstein focused, which is not a great story for Trump. So, I mean, just from a narrow political self-interested calculus.
Well, and I think we can assume that self-interested calculus was at play, given it was Lara Trump actually conducting.
Now, you know, they're over politicizing this, but listen, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit more about this crowdfunding race war, because for those who don't know, the Cincinnati woman, she was able to raise a significant amount of money. And the reason I'm bringing this out is because I want y'all to know what they really doing, right? I want y'all to know what they really up to. So I'm going to talk a little bit about her fundraiser. Matter of fact, let me just pull this up on Google real quick. And see, this is going to be something that is going to incentivize these people to go crashing out, because they're going to think they're going to get money. They think if they go crash out on black people, somebody's going to raise money from them. Her name is Vivek Ramaswamy. That's the president, dude. But let me go here for a minute, because we got to talk about this crowdfunding racism for a second. And look, you had Vivek Ramaswamy. He donated $100K. We had a politician donate to it. And who is he? A strong right-wing Republican. Look, wasn't he trying to run for president too? He donated $100K to this woman. Why? Because you got people who are politicizing this ass whooping, which means it's being used as a political tool. When you got a politician donating to this, that's how you fight race wars. You might as well have lobbyists behind this. Yeah, this Indian guy right here is a race soldier. Yeah, and these people, and now you got a lot of these white people who are being incentivized to crash out on black people. Just like that Shyla Hendricks lady, who raised a whole lot of money. Raised a whole lot of money. Look at this. See, let me tell y'all, first of all, we're going to read this, but I'm going to tell y'all what they're doing with the money right off the back. Look, they buying land and they forming militias. They're organizing. They spending this money towards those white-only towns in Texas, Indiana, and Missouri. And guess what? These towns are all legal. They taking these funds and they sending them to different, funneling them through different avenues. Now, I want to know where the money going. See, on YouTube, you got some Negroes on here. They pocket watch the wrong people. Now, I'm pocket watching these folks. How the hell they raising all this money? Where it's going at? Nah, hell with that. I want to know why politicians are what are they funding here with this race-specific media coverage? Let me see. Let me get this on big screen. Hopefully y'all can see this. I want to read this a little bit. It says Ohio gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy has made a significant donation to a Go Give Sing Go fundraiser supporting a woman named Holly who was assaulted during a violent mob attack downtown Cincinnati. Where's her Give Sing Go at now? I'm gonna click on it. She probably, I wouldn't doubt. No, look, it says right here, this man, yep, he put over 100K in there and screenshotted it. The fundraiser has now surpassed 100K. I got to find out where it's at now because it's probably, I wouldn't doubt if this woman got $1 million. I would not doubt if it's $1 million in there. Let me check that joint right now. Hold on real quick. Let's see. Cincinnati victim fundraiser. Let's see. Yeah, he put 100K in there. Wow. Let's see. My bad, y'all. I hate to be doing this while I'm live, but I'm researching. I want y'all to do me a favor and like the video on your way in. All right, let me get y'all that number real quick. So as of August 4th, 2025, Give Sing Go. Yeah, she's well over, she's on her way to $400,000. Yep. She's over $350,000. Yep. So what I'm saying is in the middle, now these people are just being incentivized to crash out. They really are. They know if they go into the and do whatever. They see Shiloh Hendricks that was the testing grounds. When Shiloh Hendricks did what she did, and she cussed that little black kid out and got over $700,000, that should have told you what the climate is. Yeah, that should have told you what the climate is. But y'all know, man, it is what it is. I will definitely be keeping y'all covered on as this race war gradually continues. Because look, that's what it is. It's a race war. You got these people with cryptocurrency connected to AI. And I'm talking about AI that is exploiting black people. They're trying to build generational wealth off of exploiting our people. That's how race wars are fought. By swaying media narratives and agendas. That's how race wars are fought. Crowdfunding to go towards land, go towards perhaps even weapons, bro. We don't know what these races be doing with all of this money. Those Russian guys never got arrested, but that whole group of people that was hurling obscenities, they $350,000 richer. They left with money. They left with $350,000 for attacking black people. Our people were left with felonies. Now, really consider what just happened. They went into a black community, decided it was okay to slap somebody and put their hands on somebody. They left with a couple lumps and $350,000. Our people left with jail time, lawyer fees, public embarrassment. Public humiliation, being called savages and animals all on the TV. So what do y'all think these white people, these white supremacists, suspected white supremacists, not just white people, but what do you think these suspected white supremacists are going to keep doing? What do y'all think they're going to keep doing? Let me know in the chat. Is this some type of CIA operation? Roland, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Says all of MAGA clean and dirty were just telling Vivek Ramaswamy to go back to India over the H-1B visa controversy just a few months ago. Absolutely. But Ramaswamy, he want to get back in good with the white nationalists, so he's sending money. You know, he's letting his face be known. That was a political move to send that much money. That's a fact. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to come through, cover the news, man. Keep your eyes peeled. Stay safe out here. Listen, don't let nobody's language and verbiage get you out of character. But listen, if anybody putting their hands on anyone, they have the right to defend themselves. Y'all stay blessed out there. More material coming. Shalom and peace.